Hello children, welcome back. Let us begin with the line-wise paraphrasing of Act 5, Scene 1. Now the last act concludes the play in an atmosphere of peace and joy. So peace and joy prevails in this scene. In this scene we return to Belmont to witness the restoration of harmony and romance. So in this scene we come back to Belmont. There is romance and peace and calm everywhere. The impassioned dialogues of Lorenzo and Jessica create an atmosphere of love and music. Impassioned means filled with passion and love. So the dialogues of love between Lorenzo and Jessica, they create an atmosphere of love and music all around. Bassanio and Graciano arrive after their wives and the ring episode reaches its climax. So it reaches its end. So Bassanio and Graciano arrive after their wives, they reach Belmont. They are accused of losing their rings and their inability to defend themselves is a surefire comedy. So their wives accuse them that they have given away their rings to women, and then it leads to a comical short scene. After enough of teasing, Portia gives a succession of revelations. She makes a lot of, she reveals a lot of secrets. And what is it? The identity of the lawyer, as it to say who was the lawyer and who was his clerk. Antonio's good fortune and the inheritance of Lorenzo and Jessica. So these are the series of revelations made by Portia, that who was the lawyer and the clerk, then Antonio's good fortune, that his life was saved and his ships have reached safely, and the inheritance of Lorenzo and Jessica. They inherit the property of Shylock after his death. And as such, all the loose ends are tied up and the end is happy, aided by love, loyalty and a good sense of humor. So we reach the climax of the play where everything ends on a happy note for everybody except Shylock. So let us begin. Scene 1, Belmont Avenue to Portia's house. Enter Lorenzo and Jessica. Now in this, the avenue is very important. Avenue means a wide street. So the keyword over here will be avenue to Portia's house, not outside Portia's house. This is the keyword. You need to remember this in this particular scene. So we begin with Lorenzo's speech. The moon shines bright in such a night as this. So Lorenzo begins on a very romantic note and he's talking to his wife Jessica and he says, the moon is shining brightly tonight. In such a night as this, it was a night like tonight when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees. On such a night when the sweet soft wind was blowing and gently caressing the trees as if kissing the trees, means the wind was softly touching the trees and they did make no noise, and even the leaves and the branches of the trees did not make any noise. In such a night, Troilus methinks mounted the Trojan walls. So he says that it was in such a night, methinks means I think, it was in such a night I think that Troilus, he stood up on the Trojan walls, on the walls surrounding the city of Troy, and sighed his soul. Sighed his soul means sent forth sighs of love towards the Grecian tents. Grecian means the tents of the Greeks, where Cressid lay that night, where his beloved Cressida lay that night. Now in this speech you need to do the allusion of Troilus and Cressida. Now Troilus was the son of the king of Troy and Cressida was his beloved. Both of them had exchanged vows that they will remain faithful to each other. But when the city of Troy was surrounded by the Greeks, then Cressida, his beloved, was handed over to the Greeks in exchange of prisoners. Now she had promised Troilus that she would always remain faithful to him, but as soon as she was handed over to the Greeks, she fell in love with Diomed. Now for a very long time, Troilus, every night he stood on the walls of Troy and he looked at the Grecian tents and where Cressida lay on that night sleeping. So Cressida became a symbol of unfaithful love because she was unfaithful to her beloved Troilus. Let us continue. Jessica, in such a night, she says, it was a night like this, did Thisbe fearfully overstrip the dew. That Thisbe, that is the Babylonian maiden, she fearfully, very afraid, overstripped. Apostrophes for the missing V. Overstripped means walked very lightly over the dew on the grass and saw the lion's shadow himself, and she saw the shadow of the lion. Means before, himself means before the lion himself. So she saw the shadow of the lion before looking at the lion and ran dismayed away. And she ran away from there. Dismayed means terrified. Now here we have to do the second allusion, that is the story of Thisbe. Now Thisbe was an unmarried Babylonian young girl. She was in love with a man called Pyramus, and both of them, they had been forbidden by their parents to meet. So one day they had arranged to meet in a forest, and Thisbe, she reached that point before her beloved Pyramus reached there, and there she saw the shadow of the lion before she saw the lion. She got scared looking at the shadow and she ran away from there, leaving her cloak behind. So the lion came close to her, smelling her cloak, and probably his mouth was already stained with blood from a previous killing. So the blood in the mouth of the lion, it smeared the cloak of Thisbe. So it left marks of blood on the cloak of Thisbe, and the lion went away from there. So the cloak of Thisbe lay over there with blood stains on it. Then Pyramus, he reached over there a little late. He saw the blood-stained cloak of Thisbe lying over there, and he believed that Thisbe was dead. So he was terrified, he was heartbroken, and thus he killed himself. Now after some time, Thisbe returned over there. She saw her lover's dead body and she also committed suicide. So both Thisbe and Pyramus, they became symbols of faithful love. So Lorenzo continues, in such a night, he says, it was on a night like this, stood Dido with a willow in her hand. Now Dido is the queen. Queen of Carthage. So she says it was on a night like this that Queen Dido of Carthage stood with a branch of the willow tree in her hand. Upon the wild sea banks, upon the banks of the wild sea, and wafted her love. Wafted means waved with the branch of the willow tree in her hand, waving out to her beloved to come again to Carthage, to come back to Carthage. Now in this we have to do another allusion. Now in this we have the allusion to the love story of Aeneas and Dido. Now Dido was the queen of Carthage. Now Aeneas, he was a warrior of the city of Troy, and he founded the city of Rome. So during one of his voyages across the sea, he reached Carthage, and there he met Queen Dido and fell in love with her. So he stayed with her for a long time, and later he sailed away, leaving Queen Dido heartbroken. Now it is believed that Queen Dido, she went and she walked over the sea banks with a branch of a willow tree in her hand, calling out to her beloved, that is Aeneas, to come back to her. So this branch of a willow tree, it is a symbol of deserted love. So with the branch of the this willow tree, she called out to Aeneas to come back to her to Carthage. So these are the three allusions. We begin with the next allusion. Jessica, in such a night, Medea gathered the enchanted herbs. So she goes on to say that it was on a night like this that Medea, she gathered means she plucked and collected the enchanted herbs. Enchanted means the magical herbs that did renew. Renew means to get back the youth of old Aeson. Aeson was her father-in-law. Now this is another allusion to Jason. If you remember, we've done the allusion of Jason in the Act 1, who was a famous Greek hero who, along with his companions, that is Argonauts, and his wife Medea, went to Colchos and managed to get the golden fleece from there, which was bound to an oak tree, and it was guarded by a dragon. So this is an allusion to the same famous Greek hero Jason. Here we are talking about his wife Medea, who gathered the magical herbs, that is the herbs having magical properties. It was that if you plucked those magical herbs during the night time when the moon was shining, and you made a concoction of those herbs and you gave it to an old man, that old man's youth could be restored. So this is what Medea did for her father-in-law Aeson. She gathered those magical herbs during the night time and she made a concoction of those and gave it to his aged father-in-law Aeson, and who had that concoction, and he became young again. Now this is an Elizabethan belief that certain herbs, they have magical properties if you pluck them at night. So this is the fourth allusion to the story of Jason, and you have to learn all these allusions. They are very important from the examination point of view. Next, Lorenzo. In such a night, he says, it was a night like this, did Jessica steal from the wealthy Jew. That Jessica is referring to his wife Jessica. That Jessica steal means she ran away, robbing the wealth of her wealthy Jew, of her father who was a wealthy Jew, that is Shylock. She stole money, ducats and jewelry from her wealthy father. And with an unthrift love, and she ran away. Unthrift means a careless person who loved her, did run away from Venice, ran away with him from Venice as far as Belmont, and they ran away together as far as Belmont. Jessica continues, in such a night, she says, it was a night like this that did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well. That young Lorenzo swore vows of love. Vows means made promises of love, stealing her soul. He won over her heart, or he captured her love, making many vows of faith. Won her heart by making many promises of faithfulness, and never a true one. Here apostrophe is for the missing V, and all those promises, not even one of those promises were true. Lorenzo, in such a night, so he says, it was a night like this that did pretty Jessica, that beautiful Jessica, like a little shrew. Shrew means a bad-tempered woman. That Jessica, like a bad-tempered woman, slander her love. Slander means to make false statements for her lover. Her love means her lover, that is Lorenzo, talking about himself. And he forgave her. She made false statements about her lover, but he still forgave her. So Jessica replies, I would outnight you. She says that I would beat you in this game of making speeches throughout the night did nobody come, if nobody had come to interrupt our conversation. But hark, hark means listen. But listen, I hear the footing of a man. Footing means footsteps. But listen, I can hear the footsteps of a man. Enter Stefano. Lorenzo, who comes so fast in silence of the night? He calls out that who is walking so fast in the silence of the night? Stefano replies, a friend. He says, a friend has come so quickly in the silence of the night. Lorenzo, a friend? What friend? Your name. He repeats, you say you are a friend? Which friend? Tell me your name. Your name, friend? I pray you, friend. I request you, friend. Tell me what your name is. Stefano. Stefano is my name. So Stefano replies, my name is Stefano, and I bring word. Bring word means, and I bring the message that my mistress will before the break of day. that my mistress will reach here before the daybreak. Be here at Belmont. Before the daybreak, she will reach here at Belmont. She doth stray about. Doth means do or does. So she does stray about means wander about. She has been wandering about by holy crosses. Holy crosses means among the roadside churches, where she kneels and prays, where she has been kneeling down and praying to God Almighty for happy wedlock hours, for a happy married life. Lorenzo, who comes with her? Who else is coming along with her? Stefano, none but a holy hermit. So Stefano replies that no one else except a holy hermit, means a priest, and her mate, and a mate is coming along with her. I pray you means I request you. Is my master yet returned? I request you, please tell me, has my master come back yet? Lorenzo, he is not. So Lorenzo replies, no, he has not come back, nor we have not heard from him, nor have we got any message from him. But go we in, I pray thee, Jessica. So he tells Jessica, we should go inside. I pray thee means I request, thee means you. I request you, Jessica, let us go inside. And ceremoniously let us prepare. Ceremoniously means formally, and let us formally prepare some welcome for the mistress of the house. Let us formally prepare to welcome the mistress of this house. Enter Launcelot. So the jester Launcelot enters, making a loud noise. Launcelot, sola, sola, wo ha ho, sola, sola. Sola means hello, 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 wo ha, hello, hello. He makes his presence felt by making such noise. Lorenzo, who calls? Who is it? Who is calling out? Launcelot, sola. Again he says, hello. Did you see Master Lorenzo? Have you seen my Master Lorenzo? Master Lorenzo, sola, sola. Master Lorenzo, hello, hello. Where are you? Lorenzo, leave holying. He says, stop shouting. Stop saying hello like this, man. Here, he says, here I am. Launcelot, sola, where? He says, hello, where are you? Where are you? Lorenzo, here. He says, here I am. Launcelot, tell him there's a post come from my master with his horn full of good news. So Launcelot says, well, tell him that there is a post, means a messenger, who has come from my master. Who is Launcelot's master? Bassanio. Has come from my master Bassanio with his horn. Horn here means bugle, which here means his mouth. His mouth full of good news. So he has a lot of good news. My master will be here morning. My master will be here at Belmont. Means before morning tomorrow. Exit. Lorenzo, sweet soul, he calls out to Jessica. My sweet beloved, let's in. Let us go inside and there expect their coming. And let us wait over there for the arrival of Portia. And yet no matter. He says, yet it does not matter. Why should we go in? Why should we go inside and wait for them? So children, I stop over here. In my next video, I'll continue with the line-wise paraphrasing of the next lines. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.